the audio and start it. And Ellie, when you're able, if you could post the announcements. Thank you. That is what I was supposed to be on. Yep. I always forget like which app is which on my phone for some reason. There we go. Why are you so quiet? My audio has been really wanting to be fussy lately, and I do not understand why. It's been bugging me intensely.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, it's like automatically lowering itself, but like also like not auto. It's weird to explain. Okay. Should be good now.
I make an
Hello.
unhealthy amount of TikTok videos, I understand.
Yeah. Alright, hello and welcome, dear patrons, to the Tables of Tartarus, a chapter of Purgatory Corner. Today, our storyteller is Benny, and we shall be continuing the tale of Adventures into the End Times. Come on in, take a seat, and let your imagination be free. Benny, if you'd like to start us off today. Oh, let me change that.
Thank you, and as always, thank you to Purgatory Corner for having me on. So our adventuring party, they started out in a tavern that was having gladiator games. They made the decision to free the gladiator Renegar, and the company doctor, the goblin druid Athel, helped in this endeavor. They escaped, but they escaped into a world in chaos. There has been a multi-year drought that is ruining the land, and this has increased diplomatic tensions to where the two great empires are planning to have a confrontation. Our illustrious party has been hired to go and observe this confrontation and then report back on what they see. On the way to do this, they've seen people engaged in horrific acts in order to cope living in a world where there's no rainfall. And they've also discovered that both empires put out a call for mercenaries, and that call was answered. And the mercenaries are raiding, pillaging, and robbing along the way. Where we left off in the last session, we were in our lovely gnome ranger Jane's hometown, a human village, fishing village on the sea. A boat from the empire from which the party started their campaign showed up, and it turned out the captain was one of the people involved in forcing Renegar into his life as a gladiator. But there was no time to deal with that because there were two mercenary ships chasing this boat. So now the party, the village, are faced with this large force that is apparently about to attack. There have already been calls for surrender by the party, and they've already been informed that there will be no mercy given and no surrender. Now, I did have a little bit more philosophizing I was going to do about the themes of the campaign, but given where we left off, I'm guessing you all would rather I wait to ramble about that until next week and we get to it. So we're going to do a quick round of introductions here. We'll start with Renegar. Give us your name, race, class, and a sentence or two about your character.
Renegar, Knoll, specifically Flynn, Path of the Beast Barbarian, and a Jaeger. And I am I'm probably going to be the least likely to give them any quarter. So
Okay, fair enough. Athel, you're up.
Athel is a Circle of the Dream druid who is primarily a healer, supposedly, though recent conflicts have shown otherwise, and they are primarily focused on helping as many people as they can and getting more bread.
Healer, creative war criminal, 6 of one, half dozen of the other. All right, that's going to bring us to Jane.
Water. Hi. I forgot we're doing the introductions. Sorry, I was jumping in between kids.
I understand. So just your character's name, race, class, and a sentence or two about the character if you want.
Yeah. Jane Littlefoot is a redhead, lovely, goofy, Fey Lost Ranger gnome. And she loves her rusty tankard tavern. She loves adventuring, and drinking competition is her basically lifeblood at this point. And yeah, she's a bit chaotic and energetic and just this happiest little bean ever. Unless you are a horrible host. As seen recently, she wasn't too pleased about it, and her redhead side showed a bit.
Fair enough. And that's going to bring us to Grommish.
Sorry, I was moving my baby out of the room because she just woke up. What introductions are we doing exactly?
Just
Who we are.
name, race, class, and if you want to give a sentence or two about your character.
Okie dokie. My character's name is Grommish. He is a orc barbarian of the Giant's Path. Essentially, when he gets angry, he gets big, and when he gets big, well, you won't like him very much. He's typically a somewhat happy go-getter, and he enjoys trying to do good and being happy and such. But unfortunately, he has 7 intelligence, so he really doesn't understand the concept of truly being good. So he kind of just looks at his fellow party members to determine what is and isn't a good thing. He is the only thing that he is truly stuck on and stubbornly, single-mindedly focused on is the idea that surrender means you get to live and survive. And if you don't surrender, you've essentially forfeited your life. So.
All right. So the scene you're in right now, you all are on the beach. The badly damaged Imperial ship hasn't really made port. They just ran it aground, and the wounded crew of this ship have taken refuge in the Rusty Tankard, Jane's parents' tavern. The 2 mercenary ships, the ships themselves are not coming in. What they're doing is they each have 2 smaller boats where about a dozen people on each of those boats are loading up and getting ready to come in that way. So it'll be 4 smaller boats coming in. And on the village side of things, the unofficial leader of the village is their cleric, Imogen, and she is shouting to the townsfolk as they are sort of mustering into a militia formation. There are only a few dozen of them, so you will be outnumbered, and they're not heavily armed. Most of them have sort of spear and shield, maybe the occasional battle axe or bow. Imogen herself carries the symbol of her faith, which is a ceremonial boat paddle that, Jane, you grew up with this person as your village cleric, and you know that it also makes a pretty good club in a pinch. And as she reaches you all, she's shouting to the villagers and organizing them into a defensive line. As she reaches you all, she's going to call out to you, and she's going to ask, Jane, are this lot you're with, and she's going to give your party a not necessarily disapproving, but a suspicious look. Are this lot you're with reliable in a fight?
Definitely, ma'am. They are very reliable. We've dealt with an evil boat before even coming here. So.
All right. So what I'd like for you all to do, if you can, we'll hold the main part of the beach. If you could deal with the boat that's on the furthest left that's coming in, and then if you're able to do that, then you can help us as you can afterward. And then she's going to kind of take another glance at the 3 of you, and she will say, if you're injured, I do have some healing magic, but it has to last for the entire village, so try not to get hurt. Now, at this point, the enemy boats are starting to make their way into shore. They're still a good 100 feet out, but they are starting their progress. People are eagerly rowing, and from where you are, you can see archers at the fronts of the boats with their bows already ready, and there are some of what appear to be spellcasters preparing components. And it's roughly midday at this point, so it's bright and sunny out. And I think now would be an excellent moment for the party to go ahead and roll initiative.
Okay. We're on a beach, right? It's just like mostly sand, or is there like cliffs on either side, or like large rock formations, or
It's mostly sandy right where you are, and it's kind of in a like a bay, so the landscape kind of curves around to either side of you, and
okay,
then the ships are actually in the bay itself. There are some rocks around. Some of them are big enough to be that if you hurled them, they would do some damage.
okay.
Athel got an 18 for initiative.
Okay.
Jane got a dirty 20 for initiative.
Okay.
Grommash has a 9.
Okay.
21.
Okay. All right. So, Renegar, boat's making its way toward you. What would you like to do?
All right. You said it's roughly 100 feet away and it's advancing right now.
That's correct.
Um, I'm gonna try something here. I'd like to try and find a rock that's like just past basketball size, and I'm gonna try and get and yes. So basically, what's gonna happen is I'm gonna go into my rage, and I'm going to try and throw the rock as hard as I can at one of the casters on the deck of the ship. I figure at about 100 feet away and advancing. I think I should be able to pull that off.
All right. So, what's going to happen? This is going to be. I'll go ahead and make it an attack roll, and you will be rolling with disadvantage because of the distance.
All right, so I'm gonna do this. Can I do this recklessly?
Recklessly is only for melee attacks.
All right, so I'll roll disadvantage then. All right, here we go. That is a. Let's see, and I get proficiency bonus and stuff, right?
Let's go ahead and do proficiency and strength. Yeah.
That's a plus 5. So 10 was the lowest.
All right. So the rock splashes into the water in front of the boat. The boat is still advancing. You used your bonus action for your rage, and I would say you probably used your movement to get a little bit closer to this to hurl that rock.
Yeah.
All right. So Jane, you are up.
I'm just going to hold my action. There's not much I can do because they're so far away at the moment.
All right. So do you want to do a situation where when you hold an action, you typically need to specify what the action will be and what triggers it?
So when they hit the shore, that's when I'll do my action, is when they hit shore, basically.
Okay.
Because at that point, they'll be like close enough.
Okay. So you're not doing anything for this moment. Athel, you are up.
All right. I'm going to use Wild Shape at this point. And I'm going to Wild Shape into a giant octopus.
I
All
like
right.
it.
And then I'm going to proceed to get into the water and try to move low enough that they can't spot me, so that when they get closer, I can sort of ambush them from the depths.
All right. So you jump into the water, you use your action for the wild shape, and you're now in the shallows, essentially.
All right.
And that brings us to Gromish.
Okay. Gromish is going to rage as his bonus action. And then at about 13 feet tall or so, he's going to grab his javelin, which has 30, 120 feet. I don't remember exactly the rules of range. It's like below 30 disadvantage, above 120 disadvantage, or is that some other ruling?
So below 30 is regular throw, and then between 30 and 120 is disadvantage. So here
Okay.
again, if you want to throw a javelin, you can. It'll
Mhm.
just be disadvantage.
Okay. Yeah, so I'll go do that. Yeah. And then because I'm a little bit larger, I assume, does the javelin obviously javelin increases in size. Does it get like the 1d4 bonus from effectively using enlarge on it, or does it not do that until I get like one step higher?
Since you're so much bigger and have better leverage to throw
Mhm.
it, I'm going to go ahead and say you get the extra damage.
Okay, cool. So we'll do a disadvantage attack. Oof, that'd be a 14.
All right, so your javelin just sticks in the front of the boat. You were close, but you didn't quite injure anybody.
And that'd be his turn.
All right. So, by my account, Gromish, Renegar, and Jane are all relatively close to each other.
Mm-hmm.
And I need you all to make a dexterity saving throw.
Will do.
And this is an effect that we can see.
It is an effect that you can see.
Oh, sweet.
That'll be a 19 for Jane.
Jane passes.
Let's see.
It's 22.
Definitely
18 for
passes.
Gromish.
So the good news is all three of you pass. The bad news is I'm still rolling dice. 11, 12, 16, 21, 25, 28. You're each going to take 14 fire damage
Oof.
as a fireball explodes on the beach.
Ouchies.
I rescind my previous comment about wanting the campaign to be harder.
What's
So this
perfect
is your
about
fault.
What's perfect about that is you're the only one who wasn't in the range of the fireball because you're underwater.
I want it to be harder. Leaves the party. All right, cool.
All right.
Oops.
So the boat continues to advance rapidly, and the people on the boat are a mix of different kinds of folk. There's most of the mercenaries you saw in your first encounter with them in our first session were scaled folk, but these are a combination. There's elves, there's humans, and you notice that on the other boats as well. It's now a mixed force. They're mostly shouting and jeering at you. One of them with a bow and arrow is going to take a shot at Gromish,
Okay.
and that's going to hit. And that's going to be 9 piercing damage,
Ouch.
which I think is halved because you're raging.
Yeah. Try to remember if. Yes. Piercing is halved.
Right.
So 4?
Yep.
Okay.
So the boat is making good time. They're still out in the water, but they're now more like 40 feet away from shore.
Okay.
And we're back to Renegar.
So where the boat's coming in, is there like is there a bit? Is there kind of like a funnel being created by the busted up ship and anything nearby where the boat's coming in towards?
Where the boat's coming in toward is just beach. The
It's
busted up ship
open beach.
What's that?
It's just an open beach.
Pretty much, yeah.
Okay. I'm gonna try and get some space between me and Gromish and Jane, and I'm gonna hold my action until. Yeah, I'm gonna hold my action until one of them gets within melee range, and then I'm going to attack them.
All right, so basically, as soon as the boat gets close enough, you're going to start swinging.
Basically, yeah.
Do you want to wade out into the shallows to do that, or do you want to stay where you are to do that?
Did I notice where Athol went into the water?
Yeah, you would have noticed.
Okay, so I'm going to stand on the beach in a straight line with him, kind of acting as bait.
Oh, okay, great. All right, Jane, you're up.
You there, Jen?
Is the ship within, how close is the ship now?
About 50 feet out.
50 feet?
Yeah.
Okay, that's within range. Am I able to see anyone to Hunter's Mark?
Yes.
Okay, so I'm going to Hunter's Mark the first person I spot on the ship.
All right.
And I'm going to take a shot off them. That'll be a dirty 28.
Definitely hits. Go ahead and roll your damage.
That will be 14.
14. Okay. So this just happens to be the same one who shot your buddy. So he's standing there with his bow, and some of his shipmates are patting him on the shoulder and cheering him. And just all of a sudden, this arrow appears in his gut, and he just kind of looks down, and you see him mouth, "Ow!" And that's going to bring us to Athol the octopus.
I'm gonna start moving a little bit closer to the ship coming in, and my swim speed as a giant octopus is not high enough. It's okay. I'm going to dash underwater underneath the ship. I believe you can dash with swim speed. So
What's your swim speed as the octopus?
oh wait, I'm sorry, I got this wrong. It's 60 feet. I'm actually good, I think.
Okay.
That's my bad. And then I'm going to do a melee attack on the mage on board, right? Because there's a spellcaster.
All right. So just quick point of order, the challenge rating on a giant octopus is 1, which is higher than you can do at this level. But what we'll do is we're going to say that in the heat of the moment, you burn 2 wild shapes to make a bigger creature. And with that in mind, go ahead and so basically you make your way up to the boat, and to the horror of all on board, a tentacle just slops over the deck. And go ahead and make your attack.
Okay, my bad. I must have mistaken the wild shape ability. 19 to hit.
Definitely hits.
Okay, so 2d6 plus 3 bludgeoning damage. So that is 12 more damage to the mage.
All right. And by the rules of, I have giant octopus stats pulled up. By the rules of that creature is now grappled. If you would like to use your bonus action to try to yank them off the ship, I will allow it.
I will absolutely do that then.
That is a
Alright, so
terrifying vision.
this is going to be contested strength.
All right. Oh, I have to use the octopus's stats, which an octopus has 17 strength. What? Okay. So that is an unnatural 20.
All right, so you pull this person off into the water, and they are now struggling with you, and it does make you very visible to the crew because all of this motion in the water, they now can't miss you. And that will bring us back to Grommish.
All right. So, what Grommish is going to do, they're about 50 some feet. How far can he wade into the water? I assume not the 20-foot gap to make it non-disadvantage.
You can get that far, yeah. The water's
Okay.
not that deep, and you're pretty big.
Okay, cool. So in that case, I'm gonna go up until I'm about 30 feet from the boat, pull out my javelin, and yeet it at them. So that's going to be a normal attack, which would be a 25 to hit.
25 definitely hits. Go ahead and roll your damage.
D4. That's going to be 12 damage.
12 damage. All right. So the fellow who shot you with his bow, who is just coming to grips with the fact that he has an arrow lodged in his stomach, now has a javelin through his thigh.
Oh.
And it's at this
I'm
point that his
Giant javelin.
it's at this point that his shipmates are going to kind of pull him to the back of the line, and you notice they're prominently displaying shields in front of them.
As bonus action basically is I'm gonna grab my great axe and pull it out as he's standing there, and that'll be his turn.
All right. So it's going to be their turn now, and I need Athel the octopus to make a Constitution saving throw.
Oh boy. Okay. That is a 17.
17 does succeed, so the person you have grappled and that you're essentially holding underwater, you see them frantically make some motions with their hand, and they're babbling something, which is a brave thing to do since they don't have any way to recover air they're losing. And you're going to take half damage, so that's 2 thunder damage, and there's just this boom under the water.
Ow.
And the people in the boat, a couple of them are going to be jabbing at you with spears. So the good news for the rest of the party is everybody's attacking this octopus that has their spellcaster underwater. What's your AC?
Mine?
The octopus, yes.
Okay. The AC of the octopus is. Sorry, 11. That's what it is.
All right. So of the 3 who are able to get at you, one of them is going to roll a nat 1 and actually hit the caster and do 6 points of piercing damage to him.
Solid.
One of them is going to hit you, and you're
Yes,
also
solid.
going to take 6 points of piercing damage.
Oh.
And
Rage. Rage.
And one of them is going to take up the longbow of the injured one, and he's going to take a shot at Grommish. Does 15 hit your AC?
No, mine is 18.
Okay. All right, so that's going to bring us back to the party. Now, Renegar, basically you didn't take an action last turn because they didn't get close enough, but they're pretty much right on you now. Do you want to go ahead and try to jump on that boat and start attacking, or what are you doing?
Yep, that's what I'm gonna do.
Okay.
Am I able to make it up the side of that ship?
Yeah, because this is more like a little rowboat or a longboat. It's not a full-on seaworthy vessel. It's the boat there. Kind of like if you picture Pirates of the Caribbean, it's not the giant pirate ship, it's the little boats that they come in on.
Yep. Gotcha. Okay, yeah, so yeah, I'm gonna meet the boat and I'm gonna start taking swings at. Are there any casters on that little boat?
Not that you can immediately tell.
All right, yeah. First, whoever's the closest is the first one that I'm gonna start taking swings at.
Okay.
And natural 20.
Yeah, that's a hit.
These are all reckless, by the way.
Yep. Okay, so point of order. The reckless ability allows you to attack with advantage on your first attack of a turn.
Oh, I thought it was melee. Oh, okay. All right. Okay. So.
But the first one's a natural 20, so.
Yep. All right. All right. So we'll just say this next one was a 4.
Okay, that misses.
And then the bonus action. Yeah, bonus action. I'm going for one more. Yeah, I'm going for a bite attack on this one. I guess. That was I rolled a 2, so.
Okay. All right, so go ahead and roll up the damage for the nat 20. So that's 11 slashing for that one. All right. So you open a nasty gash on that person. And that's going to bring us to Jane. Jane, they are well within your range now. They're almost at shore.
I think she's muted. Jane?
Yeah, I was. Hold on. I was saying if she has any abilities to deal with a group, but she does not. So she's just going to just choose a person in the closest boat that's going to hit shore
Mm-hmm.
and take a shot on them, and that will be a 27 to hit.
Definitely hits.
That would be then math, 14 piercing.
14 piercing. All right. So Renegar, an arrow whips past you and hits one of the enemies you're engaged with. You don't have to do anything in response to this. It's just kind of a shocking thing to have happen, and you're glad that your perv was such a good marksman. Athol, you are currently grappled with a magic user who is using his craft to try to escape from you without much luck so far. What would you like to do?
I'm going to continue to try and kill him.
Solid plan.
Yes. Yep, so for attacking a grappled creature, remind me how this works. Do I roll just normally because we're both technically in the grappled condition, or?
So given the fact that you're in your element and grappling is optimal for you, I'm going to say that this is going to be something you do with advantage.
Okay. So that's a natural 20 with the advantage.
That's a miss. No, go ahead, dude. Roll your damage.
Evil. So that is 23 damage.
23 damage. All right. So you are using your tentacles to rearrange this person. Anything else you can do this turn, or is that it?
That'll be it from me.
Okay. That's going to bring us once again to Grommish.
Okie dokie. I assume somebody's directly in front of me. Or on the boat, at least, that I can get onto.
You can jump on the boat.
Cool.
You'll have to make some kind of a roll if you do that, because you're so big, you will unbalance the thing.
Mm-hmm.
Or you can try to attack the boat itself, or you can try to attack someone who's on the boat.
I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to jump onto the boat. If I tip over the boat, they're going to fall into the ocean and either get eaten by an octopus or be desperately trying to swim to shore. Or I'm going to be standing on the boat and possibly swing at them. So we'll see what happens there. Is that athletics?
Yes. So I need,
Sure.
okay, so I need everybody. Okay, so you jump onto the boat. You don't need to make an athletics check for that.
Okay.
There's nothing stopping you from doing that. I do need Renegar to go ahead and make a dexterity saving throw.
And I can see this happening.
Yeah.
That is a 16.
All right. So a couple of the people on the boat fall prone. Several of others manage to keep their footing as the boat rocks violently but does not tip. And Renegar, you are also able to keep your footing. So Gramish, you're now on the boat, towering over these enemies who are on the boat. What do you do?
Nice. Does any of them look like a leader form or something? Or is it just all of them look essentially the same in terms of combat?
The archer who was wounded is toward the back with somebody tending to him, possibly a cleric. It's hard to tell. The rest of them look pretty much identical, and there's the thrashing in the water of Athel and the spellcaster.
Okie dokie. In that case, I'm going to swing at probably one of the guys at the front.
Okay.
Kind of sort of just as a way to, like, kind of establish I'm a hurt. That's going to be a natural 20, 29 total. Okay.
Yeah, hurt rolls tonight. And I believe your axe does something special when you nat 20, so
You're right,
go ahead and
does.
roll your damage.
Each creature of your choice within 5 feet of the target takes 5 damage to the type dealt by a dragon's breath weapon, which would be fire is my breath weapon type. How many are within 5? I assume that the archer and spellcaster, or the cleric, are far in the back. I assume probably it's several of them are 10 feet
Yeah,
away.
they're packed pretty close together on this boat, so there's 3 others who are taking 5 damage each from this.
Okay, cool. And then for damage, that's going to be a 2 times 2, 6, 16 plus. Sorry, my math is going wrong today. I'm gonna go with 24 damage on that.
Okay. So this person is the same one that Jane just shot, so they are now in really bad shape. Before you ask, yes, Renegar, you do see this happen. If you want to use your competitive ability to make an attack.
Yep, the guy that I hit earlier, I'm gonna hit him again.
Okay.
And that is an 18.
18 does hit.
Yeah. I take 1 powerful swing and I do a total of 11 damage.
11 damage. Okay.
Is he still standing or did he go down?
Still standing.
Okay, cool. I'm going to use my extra attack from being level 5 to swing my weapon again. It's going to be
The one you just hit or the one that Renegar just hit?
the one that I was hitting previously.
Okay.
Yeah. And then hold on just a moment. Let's see. Sorry. So I want to show this because I love this. Hold on. Boop. That would be another natural 20. 29.
Yes.
Post it in the chat for statements. So it's going to be 5 damage to anyone who's within 5 feet of him. And that 12 is going to double to be 24.
Would you like to describe how you cancel this person's subscription to oxygen?
So essentially, Gramish kind of steadying himself on the boat after having slashed into the dude just all across his chest. He's just going to like kind of spin his axe and say, no surrender, only death. And slam into him from the side and essentially just yeet him over the side of the boat far into the ocean as he just stares at the rest of the crew. Fire from his axe just spewing out of the axe onto the other folks.
All right. So that is going to bring us to their turn. Mara, the caster who you are grappled with is going to just vanish from your grip,
Cool.
and that person is going to reappear on the deck.
Is the deck of the ship on fire now from being struck twice by a fire spell, basically?
No, it is actually not. The fire spell didn't strike the deck itself; it struck the people on the deck, and also you're on a boat on the ocean. So if anything does start to catch on fire, it's easy enough for somebody to reach over with a bucket and toss water on it.
The ocean provides the water. It's a world-made fire extinguisher.
All right, so this caster is going to reappear on the deck and quickly sort of take note of the situation of having these two hulking barbarians tearing apart his crew. And he's going to cast a spell. And once again, I need Gromish and Renegar to both make dexterity saving throws.
That'd be a 9.
All right.
And that's a 13.
Both fail. Both take 10 thunder damage. And both are pushed off the boat into the water. Now, the good news is you're in the shallows, so the water is only about 3 feet deep, so this doesn't hurt you very much, apart from the damage you took.
You said that was how much? 10?
Correct. And being braver than he is smart, one of the crew is going to draw a longsword, jump off, and take a swipe at Renegar. Does 16 hit your AC?
No, it doesn't.
All right. Another one is going to come alongside his comrade and do the same thing. And I'm reasonably confident that natural 20 does hit your AC.
Yes, it does.
All right. So that's going to be 10 slashing damage, and you're still raging.
Yeah.
For some reason, Gromish, people are going to offer ranged attacks against the person who's 13 feet tall.
You kind of unnatural choice, but sure.
So one of them hurls a spear at you and just hits
Nice.
for 6 piercing. And the archer, who has now been at least partially healed by this cleric, is going to make his way to the front of the boat. And he's actually going to take a longbow shot at Jane. And he's going to miss.
Yay!
So that brings us back to the party. Renegar, you're wet, hurt, and pissed off, and there are 2 people in front of you. What do you want to do?
Yeah, I'm gonna I'm gonna start swinging at the one that actually hit me.
Okay.
And I'm gonna take this first attack reckless, I guess, then.
Yep.
And so that's a 17.
That hits.
And then I guess I'll do my multi attack. That's a natural 20.
That hits.
Yes. And then I'm gonna keep going with this. And that is an 18.
Yeah, all 3 hit. Hot rolls.
And so the first one he takes 6 damage.
Okay.
The second one is 11 slashing damage.
Okay.
And the last one is 7 slashing damage.
Okay, so he's very hurt. Jane, you are up.
Okay. I'm still unsure. How far away is everyone from me?
Not that far at this point. The boat's pretty much there, so if you're still on shore, they'd be about 20 feet away from you.
Okay, I'm going to. You said 20 feet?
Yep.
Okay, I'm going to move. Stay on shore at least. Try to stay on shore.
Right.
And I'm going to go 20 feet and cast Healing Spirit. Well, as a bonus action, I'm going to cast it after I take a shot on someone, which will be dirty 26 to hit.
That definitely hits. Who are you shooting at?
Just another person that's closest to shore at this point, trying to keep them offshore.
Okay. So that would be one of the ones engaged with Renegar. Go ahead and roll for your damage.
So that will be 13.
All right.
And actually, sorry, my talk key is Z, and that's a mistake. I'm actually going to stay where I'm at since I can summon the spirit within 60 feet of me.
Okay.
I'm going to cast it. Who would be in the middle of everyone? I'm just going to put it in between Gromish and Renegar. That way it hits the whole team.
Right. Okay. Sounds good. All right. So
And try to
Renegar.
heal everyone.
So Renegar, you're engaged with this person. You claw them viciously. You bite them, and they raise their weapon ready to go at you again. And as you two are locked in this moment of epic combat, an arrow catches them square in the face, and they just drop into the water. Whether you're happy about this or whether it's a, hey, I was going to do that kind of moment is completely up to you.
I turn grinning to the one that's remaining and just sort of flex my claws as I move towards him.
All right. Athel, you are still in octopus form, and you are, at this point, sort of behind the main action. What would you like to do? Whatever you do, you should probably turn your microphone on before you do it.
Thank you for that. Are there any more ships coming from the main raiding group, like the main raiding vessels?
So the answer to your question is yes, they're spaced out about 25 feet apart. The instruction you were given by the cleric was to deal with the one on the far left, which is what you all have been doing. But if you wish to break away and attack another ship where the villagers are dealing with it without your party's help, you can do that.
What I'm going to do is I am going to move sort of back to the one that we're all dealing with to just help clean up. But I'm going to sort of pop most of my form up from the water and sort of make it appear like this massive kraken has just appeared to devour the friendly ship in an attempt to sort of intimidate the other raiders into backing off.
Okay. All right, so are you attacking anybody?
Yeah, I'm going to attack whoever's left at this point.
Okay. Sadly, as you do this, the other ships are already engaged with people on shore, so it's not that it isn't an intimidating display, it's just that they're busy with other things and don't necessarily notice you.
Okay. So that is a 14 to attack.
All right. So 14 is lower than the AC of anyone on that ship, so no luck there.
Okay, never mind. Well, that's my turn.
All right, and that's going to bring us back to Gromish.
Okie dokie. I fell off standing on there. I assume that I'm probably like stomach chest height with the front of the boat.
More or less, yeah.
Okay, cool. So standing there, I think I'm going to grab the boat with one hand and kind of swipe at somebody, like kind of holding the boat in place as I swipe.
All right.
If that works.
Don't see why not. Go ahead and make your attack roll.
Okie dokie.
There's an
That'd
archer on
be...
there who just took a shot at Jane, and there's a caster, and then there's a bunch of melee dudes. Any particular person you're taking a shot at?
I'd probably try hitting the caster, I would say.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can do that.
So that's going to be an 18 to hit,
18 does hit.
and that'd be 8 damage.
Okay.
And then for my second swing, probably gonna try hitting the archer just because he tried hitting Lil Mama. So I'll swing for that one. That's going to be a dirty 20 to hit,
All
and that'd be 9 damage, all slashing.
okay.
And that'd be his turn.
All right, and Jane, what's the health that people regain for starting their turn within the area of your healing spirit?
It will be. Once it rolls. 3.
All right, so that was Gromish and Renegar both regained 3 health this round.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
I tried to get everyone kind of within that 5-foot cube. I'd like to think they're all within 5 feet of each other, but you know, they're rocking boats.
All right, so it's going to be it's going to be their turn, and the caster is going to do something rather odd. They're going to kind of jump off of the boat, and as they're jumping, they're going to cast Lightning Bolt. And the reason why they're doing that is because that's what they had to do to have all 3 of Gromish, Renegar, and Athel within the area of effect for the Lightning Bolt. So I needed those 3 to go ahead and make a... Oh, actually, they can hit Jane too. So I need everybody to make a dexterity saving throw.
All right. I'm assuming we see it,
spell.
so...
I don't like that.
It's going to be advantage for me and Renegar.
Go ahead and
Danger
make your
sense for the
dex
win. Huh?
And that is a 19 for me.
Okay, 19 is a success.
Up a
Dirty
natural
20
1
for
from me.
Oh, no.
What did
Jane got
Athel
a
get?
14.
Okay, what did Gromish get?
Dirty 20.
Dirty 20. So both of you succeeded. Jane got a 14, you said?
Yes.
And Athel got a 1?
Yep.
All right, so Gromish and Renegar do succeed, so the 2 of you will only take half damage. And... Eight, 9, 14, 19, 20. That's 24 lightning damage. Those of you who succeeded your throw take half.
Well, I am no longer an octopus.
And as the as the caster splashes into the water, you're going to see electricity arc up and hit him too.
Oh.
And what you're going to realize is that he put himself in the range of his own spell in order to hurt you all.
Impressive.
That is a bold choice.
Very bold.
And being somewhat emboldened by this, his guys are going to rush forward. Renegar, that's definitely going to hit. This is a sword attack, but it's not going to do a lot of damage. It's 4 slashing.
Okay.
Grumish, the archer, is going to step back and take a shot at you, and that's also going to hit for 8 piercing, which I think you have.
Mm-hmm.
Athel, somebody's going to jump into the water with a spear at you,
Old move, Cotton.
and he's going to completely miss you.
I love the idea of him like just jumping out of the boat and just hitting the water and just sinking.
Ah!
Belly
And-
flop.
And the remainder of the crew, including the one that was apparently a healer, are trying to get they're pulling their caster back out of the water because he's just been partially electrocuted and, you know, all of that good stuff. And once again, we are brought back to the party, which is going to be Renegar to start.
How many are in front of me again?
There's actually only one who's really engaged with you. The rest are still on the ship.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna attack him.
Okay.
Yeah. Reckless on the first one. That's it. I rolled an 18 on the dice.
Definitely hits, yeah.
Let's see. Next attack, and then my multi attack was a grand ol' 7, and then bonus is a 19 to hit.
Definitely hits.
Yes. And these are all claw attacks.
Okay.
Ones that hit. Nice. So 12 slashing and 10 slashing.
All right. This guy is not looking good at this point. And that's going to bring us back to Jane.
Yeah, Jane isn't doing too great, so she's gonna move back a little bit, like 10 feet, and take a potion of healing.
All right, go ahead and roll a d6 for how much health Gromish and Renegar
Yeah.
regain for starting their turn, please.
They only get 1,
Okay,
and the spirit's now gone, since that's 4 charges.
okay. And you go ahead and heal yourself a bit with the potion. So I'm going to say that taking the drink from the potion is your bonus action, and the spirit was already there, which means you still have your action if you want it.
In that case, Jane is going to cast aid for her team.
Okay, and what does that do?
That does I choose up to 3 creatures within range. So actually I shouldn't have moved.
We're
Each
just gonna
creature's
say-
targets. Yeah. I choose up to 3 creatures within range. Each target's hit point maximum and current hit points increase by 5 for the duration.
Sounds good. So everybody in the group gets
So
5.
it lasts up to 8 hours.
Okay, sounds good. And that's going to bring us to Athel.
All right. So Athel is going to use his favorite ability of the campaign, which is Primal Savagery on the person who jumped in after him. And he is just going to, immediately after turning into an octopus, practically, he is, or turning, turning back into a goblin from an octopus, he's already got his glowing green claws out and just swipes at the guy who's swinging at him. And that is a 17.
17 definitely hits.
Cool. And this actually does more damage now that we're at 5th level. So that is 19 acid damage.
Gosh.
All right, so you swipe with the claws, and you realize as your claws make contact that as acid is trailing off of your hands in the water, it's getting everywhere. So even parts of him that you didn't hit, like there's real danger that it's going to get into his eyes and his nose and stuff like that. And I believe that's going to bring us once again to Grommish.
All right. Grommish is going. He's going to do a thing. He's going to try to do a thing here. So he has a potion of growth, which he's going to take. It effectively gives him the enlarge reduce spell for 1d4 hours with no concentration, which will be a 3 hours. He gets to do it for 3 hours. So he's going to grow up another step. So he was large. He's going to be huge, and because he's an orc, he essentially gets what's it called? Powerful build. I count as one size larger when determining the carrying capacity and the weight I can push, drag, or lift. So essentially, I'm going to grow up to be 26 feet tall. I'm going to grab the boat, and I'm going to try throwing the boat into the other boat in the back, if I can.
You absolutely can do that. That's going to be an athletics check, and because it's strength-based, and I think this is actually the last round of your rage, you're going to make that check with advantage.
Okie dokie. Come on, dice. That's a dirty 21.
Yep, it works. So you hurl the boat and all in it into another boat that's engaged with the villagers. And I'm not going to narrate the whole rest of the battle just for the sake of time, but basically what's going on is the villagers were very hard pressed. Several of them are down, but when they see this happen and the ensuing casualties, and then your party rushing in on the flank is essentially what's going to turn it definitively to the side of the village. And the enemy are going to be retreating with a lot of casualties. And it's the kind of thing where, as they're getting onto their boats and trying to flee, villagers are hurling spears and things at them. Jane, during the fracas, one of the raiders is actually going to make a rush at you, and a spear is going to streak over your head and catch this guy on the chest, and he'll fall on his back. And then your dad is going to run up and pull the spear out, and he's going to say, "Don't tell your mother." And then he's going to run and join the fight off to your right. A few minutes later into the fracas, another one is going to make a rush at you, and you're going to see a meat cleaver whip past and catch this guy square in the face. And your mom is going to run up, finish him with her butcher knife, and say, "Don't tell your father," and then run off and help in the fight to your left.
See, that's where I get it from. Where's Rob?
And so you all, the remaining raiders several of them are captured, and one of the ships actually doesn't leave. It's just sitting there with essentially not enough crew on it to try to take off. The people from the Imperial ship are at that point going to make their way out, sort of hobbling out, still wounded from the tavern now that the fight is over. And you're going to find Imogen, the cleric. The young man, Rob, Jane, who you knew from before, is going to be lying on the beach with just a grievous wound in his chest. And Imogen is going to look up at you and just shake her head. And Rob is going to kind of raise a hand and just kind of beckon to you.
I'm running over.
Okay.
I'm going to be shoving a freaking potion in that boy's mouth. Hold on.
Imogen's
no dying.
Imogen's going to stop you. She's just going to say it's past that. Rob is going to press a silver coin into your hand, and he's going to tell you my friend Carl and I made a bet that when you came back to town, I would get a kiss from you. But since that didn't happen, I owe him a drink. Make sure he gets it. And when you look down the beach, you're actually going to see his friend Carl among the dead. He didn't make it. And that's going to be it for Rob.
Oh.
So there are several wounded raiders who are sort of in the custody of the villagers. And there's also all eyes are now kind of turning to the people from the Empire, including Renegar's old friend, the one who was involved in selling him into slavery.
Yeah.
Is Renegar going to say anything or articulate anything at this point?
I'm actually thinking about that right now.
All right, so Grommish,
Yeah,
Apple,
I'm just too tired right now.
Okay.
I just can't. I just can't even be bothered with him.
All right.
Mhm.
So it's at this point that Imogen is going to respectfully lay Rob down, and her attention is going to turn to the Imperial folk who showed up. And she's looking specifically at this leader who Renegar had personal dealings with in the past, and she's going to say, "So you were losing a battle, and rather than surrendering, the best idea you could come up with was to lead these people to our village. And we've now lost several of our people because you couldn't just surrender. And I'm told that you were involved in the slave trade at some point." And the guy's just going to be doing one of those like, "Yeah, that's all accurate. I mean, I can't. There's more than one thing going on here for me to answer to, but please just give me a moment. I captured a wild knoll. The wild knolls are very dangerous to my people. And when I brought the ship in, I wasn't trying to put you in danger. I was just trying to get my crew to safety because I didn't know what the raiders would do." And Imogen is going to kind of nod along as he's saying all this, and she's going to say, "Well, since you've made it so clear that your crew weren't involved in your crimes, we'll spare them. Now, as for you, in my decades of service, I found that in this world, there isn't truly justice. There's just us. So we're going to put it to a vote. Anyone who believes that you deserve punishment, anyone who believes that this man deserves punishment, raise your hand." And I'm going to go around in the order that I see people. Grommish, you're up. Do you raise your hand for this person to receive an unspecified punishment, or do you keep your hand down?
Ramesh is still particularly angry at everything, so he's probably moved down to his 13 since his rage is probably done, but he still keep his hands folded at his chest.
Okay. Jane, you are hearing this as you are sort of over the body of one of your childhood friends, and this person is asking, does the person who is at least inadvertently responsible for your death deserving of punishment? So do you raise your hand yes or do you not?
Goodness. Jane, I don't know if she'd really be paying attention in this situation
Okay, so she's just
because
not.
she lost her best friend, and yeah.
Okay. Athel, what's your reaction going to be?
Athel is not only raising their hand, but is actually going to flick a droplet of the remaining acid towards them just to scare them a bit, but like very clearly making their point.
All right. And Renegar, what are you doing?
I actually step forward and I step forward and very loudly, just to make sure that I have Imogen's attention. Be punished.
All right. So, and then Imogen is going to say, and she's not just talking to you for a lot of the villagers are responding, and there are a lot of hands that have raised in this moment. And she's going to say, and anyone who believes that this man deserves a second chance, deserves our forgiveness, please raise your hand. Gramish, are you raising your hand at this point?
He would, yeah.
Okay, so Gramish does raise his hand. As you look out among the villagers, though, what you're going to see is it's the kind of thing where like one guy starts to raise his hand and his wife just elbows him really sharply in the ribs. It's just like, never mind. And at that point, Imogen is going to just kind of look at Renegar, and she's not even going to say anything. She's just going to give you the slightest of nods.
I rage and I rush him.
All right.
Okay.
So, I don't want to get too graphic here, but am I correct in imagining that this person's passing is neither especially quick nor especially painless?
No. I bring him to ground, and it's vicious and it is bloody. All
right. So against the background of a lot of wet squelching, screams, and growling, Imogen is going to look at the Imperial folks, look at the mercenaries, and she's going to say, by my count, there's just about enough of you to man that one ship that's in our harbor. So the other ship has at this point fled. And she's going to say, you can leave all of your weapons and all of your gold, and you can take your ship and go. And where you go, I care not. And at this point, these erstwhile enemies, faced with what is apparently going to happen to them if they displease this priestess and a bunch of angry villagers and acid-wielding goblin are going to see the wisdom in setting aside their distances and, if you'll pardon the crude expression, fucking off until there's no more off left to fuck.
Gramish is going to, I assume that there might have been like a second mate or something on their ship, or someone of that sort that he might recognize as being a more authority, basically.
You do see a caster who looks like he has a broken arm and is not doing well, but he is still coherent and up.
All right. Gramish just gonna walk over to him, being one of the Imperials, and I can't imagine how scary it would be for a 13-foot tall person just start walking towards you. But Gramish is essentially, as he's on a walk, just kind of hold up his hands and kind of one of the only gentle manners that they've probably seen Gramish in for a bit as he walks up to him. And he's gonna reach into his bag and he's gonna pull out the sword that the captain had and hold it out to the guy.
All right. So it's going to take him a moment to try to sort of grasp what it is meant by this. And it's the kind of thing where he's very tentatively going to start to reach for it. As you're doing this, though, more than one villager is going to attempt to snatch the sword away. They just don't want you giving this person a weapon. So if you want to let that happen, you can. If not, it's going to be contested dexterity.
Yeah, I'm going to contest dexterity with Gramish looking angry at the fellows as well. So dexterity roll. That's gonna be 11.
All right, so one of the villagers, it's actually a young woman, is just going to snatch this sword out of your hand, and she is going to stare up at you. She's not much more than 5 feet tall, so she's less than half your height at this point. And she's just going to stare up at you and say, no, you are not giving these people any weapons. They go unarmed. They are lucky they're leaving with their lives.
He's going to kneel, essentially, to get more of an even height with her. And he's going to say, their leader died in front, vicious and bloody. They are grieving. This is his weapon. He cannot die with honor. He cannot bury with honor. He is pirate. Pirates die at sea. Pirate's ocean burial. This is pirate's weapon. This is as important, he grabs out his gauntlets, as these are to me. They deserve to die at sea, along with his body. Give, please.
So at this point, she's going to shout to the assembled crowd, show of hands, anybody who cares what's important to anybody who washed up on our shores today. If any of the party wishes to raise their hand at this moment, you may.
I'm too busy, like, actually eating the body.
You're strangling this person with his own colon. Both of your hands are occupied, so yeah.
Athel is busy treating the wounded of the people who washed up on their shores today, and also the villagers, but like, he's, as this is happening, he's treating one of the people who attacked them, basically, or false surrendered, or whatever. And so he's like, they care about their lives. That's all they get. So
Jane will raise her hand. Not paying a whole lot of attention to the situation, but she knows this is important for Gromish. So she'll show support for Gromish. But she still isn't leaving Rob's side at all whatsoever, nor is she going to say anything.
All right. So at this point, Imogen is going to walk up alongside the woman, and she's going to reach out her hand for the sword. The woman is going to hand it over, and Imogen is in both hands. You're going to recognize that she's casting some kind of spell. You don't know which one, but she's going to take the sword in both hands, and she's going to bend it completely in half, and then she's going to bend it the other way, and she's going to do it a couple more times until it snaps. And then she'll hand the pieces to the person that Gromish wanted to hand it to. And she's going to, holding eye contact with Gromish while she's doing that. And once again, this person is half your height.
Gromish is
in any way intimidated by you.
He's not even going for intimidation to her. It's just solid anger. Like, he grows to his full size again as he's staring at her. Not even for intimidation, just because he physically can't hold in the amount of pure rage he feels. And then he looks back down at the guy that she just handed the blades to, and fucking practically holding it like the scabbard like it's a toothpick. He puts it down kind of in the sand, and he says, "Place weapon in sheath, please."
All right, so this person is going to like drop the tip end first and then drop the blade in after.
He's going to like kind of wrap his hand around it, and I doubt that Jane's looking, but Jane would be the only one who can see it. It's like some sorrow in him as he's going to kind of grab it, and he's going to chuck it like it's a like hardcore javelin with the hilt facing the ocean, as he's just going to chuck it as hard as he possibly can, kind of symbolizing almost a burial at sea for this weapon, right, and effectively for this guy's soul, as he just yeets it as hard as he possibly can. At 26 feet tall, I imagine that's going a distance.
So it splashes out far out into the bay, and everybody just kind of watches this happen. And Imogen is still, the lady who took the sword from you has kind of backed off. They're sort of content that they essentially got what they wanted, which was these people don't get their weapons back.
Yeah.
And
he's gonna look at the caster after he's done that. He's gonna say, "I am sorry. Burial at sea can't be done, but soul, I hope, rests."
So still staring at you and still not having given an inch, and also having taken up her boat paddle, Imogen is going to look at Gromish, and she is going to say, "I admire your heart. I truly do. And I admire your sense of justice, and I admire your sense of fairness. Because honestly, you, mighty orc, are more merciful than I am, and that is to your credit. You do need to learn that there is a time for you to stand by your principles, and there is a time for people to express hurt in their own ways.
If
And
we
you
are
need to
the only
learn.
ones allowed to express grief, others around us, that is a sad, sad life. Everyone grieves. We have taken
So,
heart from many. We have taken pain.
So Athel at this point is kind of drenched in the blood of the villagers and also
Mm.
the people who are wounded alike after trying to heal as many people as they can. Just be like, yeah, I don't think the people who caused mass death get to experience grief the same as the people who died in mass waves.
Ramesh just don't look at him and just say, I killed more from my boat throwing than many of them who stepped on the beach killed. Am I not allowed to grieve for those that I have lost?
Athel does not respond to this.
The amount you kill doesn't mean no sadness. I give... He kind of thinks for a second to think the word. You said mercy. I give mercy to anyone who may need it. They are not enemy. They may not be friend, but they are allowed to grieve.
At this point, Imogen is going to say, well, if the amount of death you bring gives you any more right to anything than anyone, then I've significantly misjudged your morals and your heart. As far as them grieving, they can grieve with a broken sword as well as they can one that is intact. And with that, she's going to turn away from you and she's going to go and help Athel with the wounded.
He's gonna walk over to kind of Jane and kind of sit next to her, kind of simmering down a little bit back to his 13 feet tall because the potion. And he's just gonna be quiet as he's watching her grieve and just kind of watching over her.
All right. So as Athel and Imogen finish treating the wounded, and you notice Imogen seems to be very proficient with healing, both with healing magic and with more practical healing. So you're able to do a pretty good job of those who can be saved are saved and brought back to full health or close to it. Next up is going to come the work of burying the dead. And some of them are buried, others are sort of set up on a pyre that is burned. While that is going on, what's everybody going to be doing? And we'll start with Renegar. By this point, you have very thoroughly divorced this person's soul from his body. What are you and people are collecting remains to be dealt with? What's your response going to be in that situation?
Yeah, if there's just a normal campfire somewhere nearby, the remains that the remains that I haven't the remains that I haven't chewed through, that's where they're gonna go. This body's not getting anything even remotely close to a burial. It's just being disposed of.
All right.
Are they doing anything with the bodies on the beach, the enemy bodies, or are they just leaving them to rot?
No, I mean this is right at the border of their village, so they're basically piling them up on kind of a pyre that it looks like they're going to float out into the ocean.
Okay.
Just making some chum for the sharks at this point.
Athel is Ethel's going to be using mold earth to help create like quick fire graves for the dead villagers.
All right. And what's Jane going to be doing while this is all going on?
Jane is going to basically kind of unless they've already like buried Rob's corpse. Just before that point, as they're going to take him. Sorry, I'm still trying to gather myself. I got too into character. As they take his body away, she's going to take out a little trinket. It's going to be, oh my gosh. It's going to be a little pinwheel that spins even though there's no wind. And she's going to be like, he always really liked this and found it to be so cool. He didn't understand how it would spin without any wind. I just told him that it spins whenever people are happy. And she's going to put it in his hand before they go to bury him. And then she's going to start making her way to either Gromish or her parents, whoever's closest, and just kind of just hug them, just bury herself for a bit.
So Gromish has been hanging close to you this moment, and your parents are a little bit further down the beach. They're basically they're engaged in an argument where they're both mad at each other for having gotten involved in the fight. Like, it was the kind of thing where apparently they both promised each other that they would stay in the inn and not put themselves in any danger.
Yeah, it definitely sounds like Jane's parents.
If you go up to Gromish, he's just gonna kind of pick you up and just hug you close.
Yeah, she's just gonna be crying.
All right. So it's getting on toward nighttime by the time that everything has been dealt with in the aftermath of all of this. And Jane's dad is going to kind of make his way into the middle of where everybody is. Everybody is still kind of in a state of shock. People, there's the shock of battle. People have lost relatives. The casualty totals for the village weren't horrible, but it's a village of less than 100 people.
Mm-hmm.
And Jane's dad is going to kind of make his way into the middle of where the villagers have congregated, and he's going to say, I think tonight we should celebrate our victorious dead and our victory. Free drinks at the tavern. And at that point, Jane's mom is going to walk up and basically like swat him on the back of the head, and he's going to say, half-price drinks at the tavern.
We're not that rich.
Are you all going to stay on the beach, or are you going to make your way back to the Rusty Tankard? What are you doing here?
Gromish is going to kind of pat Jane on the back and go, you want to see your parents? Go and drink.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be on the beach.
Okay. You'll know where to find me. And she'll just slowly start making her way to the Rusty Tankard.
Always do, little mama. Always do. And he's just gonna sit down on the beach and just stare at the waves.
All right, so Renegar and Athel, you're not necessarily hearing every detail of this interaction, but you do see it happen. Athel, are you going to go with Jane to the tavern, or do you want to go sit with Gromish, or are you going to do something else?
Athel is, at this point, going to go to the tavern, having to cast, I believe Prestidigitation is the cleaning spell, repeatedly on themselves at this point, covered in both enemy and friendly blood by this time, but yeah, they're actually in a surprisingly good mood relative to the gore around them.
Fair enough. And what's Renegar doing?
Gromish has already made his way down to the beach, right?
Yeah.
He just took a seat at the beach and is just staring at the coast.
I'm gonna make my way over to Gromish.
Cool. He's gonna like kind of turn his head towards you, see you walking, nod to you, and look back towards the ocean.
I'm gonna find a small pebble. I'm just gonna chuck it at him.
One case, just pebble.
Aiming for like center mass of that of his enormous back.
Yeah, it's just to kind of turn around, look at you, and be like, "Did you throw pebble?"
When you do turn around, you see I'm obviously angry at you.
Mm.
Why?
He's gonna kind of stand up and kind of look at you, and be like, "Why what?"
Why forgive?
He's gonna kind of think on that for a minute and just go, "Why not? Why fight?" If you're mad, he took you and made you fight. Was well, leader or grabber, and you kill, and someone sees you kill, and they go, "I kill too." Does that make you sad?
No.
It makes me sad. I want littles. Thanks for a second. Child. Young. I want young to look and say peace, not death. So many saw him. So many watched death today. Both sides watched death. So sides grieved.
Yes.
This village was sad. They lost. They fight next time. They lose more. They fight again, they lose more. They fight again, they lose more. They fight again, they lose more. Until none left. You make peace. None lost. Sometimes fight, maybe loss. I want peace. I fight if I have to. I fight to survive. But he kind of like just like kind of taps his chest. Am hurt. I hurt so many. I threw so many. And they died. I asked for surrender, they gave none. I fought like in the gladiator arena. And then I fought like I was outside. Outside, no rules, just pain. No burial, no grief. What about when I die, fur buddy? Well, will someone grieve me?
Yes.
And if they're told that I killed so much, they're not. They shouldn't. I handed his sword to hopefully his friend. I gave him chance to grieve. If I gave he grabs his axe and holds out to you. If I gave you axe and someone broke it in front of you, how would you respond?
Angry. But that different.
How? I killed his friends. I killed many on that boat. You killed village.
Yes.
Friends, all friends, trapped in burning flame.
Earned it.
Aye. What if I couldn't grieve you for a buddy? What if somebody was angry 'cause you burned village? And I was told you were bad man, and I shouldn't be sad. It's the same thing.
Cannot stop grief.
No.
Still different.
It's not different for me, for a buddy. I don't know difference.
They lied. Tried to trap.
For a buddy, do you remember what we said to a village elder, that old man? We said chance, better chance, better life. We lied.
No.
They didn't get better chance for a buddy. You burned village. We lied. I lied.
No. You no lie. I say nothing.
I said we give better chance, better life. You burn. I lie. We.
No.
He's just don't kind of sit down and stare at the ocean again. He's just don't go. Back in arena. Death not common. We don't fight to death. Often. Death accidental. Makes better fun fights. People watch more. Fighting funner. If die, sad moment. Many are friends. Many enemies are not friends. They're mean, vicious. Some want to hurt. Some are new. They want to hurt. We bury to give better chance to others. To give honor, so that we do better. We lied for a buddy. We hurt. We trapped in fire. Village burned. Village fell.
No do again.
Do you
get back what give? I'd sit down next to him and I'd point to the bones,
mm-hmm.
the big one on the shoulder, all the way down through to the fingertips. found as pup. Made new family in pit. I put my hand on the big one in the on my shoulder. New father. Guruk. Going down onto the forearm. Brothers. Krishna. And into the hand. On her neck. All three. I forced to kill. Death. All the time. Every time. Lose family. Twice now. Not again. No more.
Stone gently like pat your shoulder, and he'll go, I don't know how feels to kill family. Little mama. You see vicious anger forming in his face from the sheer idea of him being forced to kill her. He just kind of stops that sentence as it goes, and he just shakes his head and he just goes, I give surrender, so I don't worry if they wish to live. But after all are dead, everyone grieves, and everyone should get chance. No matter how bad, no matter how long or how cruel. I have killed so often, and I want little mama to grieve. I want to grieve for you, Furbuddy, if you die. I give chance. I give chance to all those. All. It stops for a moment. His brain just kind of slowing. He's like, all who want to grieve. I give chance. I respect. Want. I want you to try same.
We'll try. But I point back to the bloody mess. That's where the body was. One man. That one. Find me.
I don't stop you from... He kind of gestures blankly to that edge, and he's just like, You didn't kill at first. Beginning, no death. You waited. You gave chance. You let others choose as well. If
no.
he...
Knew better. Too many.
He legitimately didn't even think of that. he like kind of stops for a second. He's like, oh.
So it's at this point that you notice Imogen, the priestess, walking along the beach toward you.
Mm-hmm.
And she's actually been there for some time, but she was giving you kind of a respectful distance.
Yeah.
And she's going to walk up and say, well, I hate to break up the scholars' conclave out here, gentlemen, but it's not great to be on the beach after dark. The sea harbors things other than pirates. Let's all go have a drink at the tavern.
He kind of nods. All the anger he had, kind of not towards her necessarily, but like involving her, has kind of faded at this point. He's just kind of thrown it more or less away. He just kind of nods to her like she's just everyone else. He looks for her buddy. He's like, drinking time for buddy.
Thanks.
Drinking time. He's gonna start walking with her.
All right. And as you're walking up, Imogen is going to sort of turn to you, Renegar, and she's going to say, so I think out of all your companions, you're the only one who doesn't use magic of some kind. Even your orc friend seems to have an enchanted axe. Any particular reason why you don't favor it?
I just kind of like blankly look over. I kind of give her that like confused like head cock and just don't understand what she's talking about, really.
Fair enough. So when you get to the tavern, Imogen is going to call Jane's dad over. It's a fairly subdued mood, as could be expected. Some people are eating, mostly just Athel eating bread, but some people are eating. Quite a few people are drinking, and several people are obviously pretty far into their cups in their grief and in their shock. She's going to wave to Jane's dad, and she's like, could you bring us the special? And Jane's dad is going to sort of give a raised eyebrow. Anything for you, Your Eminence? Now the question is, are Gromish and Renegar both going to drink whatever the special is?
Anything that Jane's dad gives him, he's going to drink without even a second thought.
All right.
I don't have any reason not to trust it this time.
That's fair. All right. So you both get through your first drink before the rest of the night becomes very, very hazy. Gromish, you're going to wake up the next morning in a comfortable bed. They put you both up in rooms, and you're going to wake up with a headache. Renegar, you are going to wake up with a headache and a slight pain on the shoulder that doesn't have all the bone arrangement, the opposite side. And what you're going to come to realize happened during the night was somebody, not a large area, but just basically your shoulder, somebody shaved that area, and there is now a tattoo there. And what the tattoo does is it gives you +1 to your attack and damage rolls, and your attacks count as magical for the purpose of overcoming resistance.
Ooh.
Nice.
And then as a bonus action, once per day, you can actually make a ranged attack with it that effectively is an Eldritch Blast.
Ooh.
But it's a once per day ability, so, don't waste it.
It definitely accidentally goes off. Like
Fucking through the floor.
Feeling I can feel the energy, and I kind of like just put a hand, and I feel the energy, and I sort of just like reach a hand out real quick because it burns, and it just goes off and hits the wall.
So when that happens, the door is going to open a moment later, and Jane's mom is going to walk in carrying a tray of food and a steaming cup of tea for you. And she's going to look at the hole in the wall and go, yeah, I told him that was going to happen. Anyway, here's breakfast.
And it's just shoveling it in.
All right. So, yeah, you all wake up in the morning. You're fully rested, and this seems like a pretty good place to leave it for tonight.
Yeah.
When we meet again, you'll be setting off on the next leg of your journey, and you all will also be level 6.
Sweet.
Cool.
All right. Well, hopefully you guys enjoyed this very chaotic but very exciting battle of us doing bowels of force and death essentially. And wow, did we nearly got killed and oh my god, I'm so for it. I'm so excited by it. And then me and Rhaegar had a good talk of perspective. So yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed, and if you guys want to catch us again, come by next week, Wednesday, 4:30 p.m. PST. We're all gonna be here hopefully every week for probably next, I don't know, month or two, maybe more, depending on how long Benny wishes to continue carrying us through his wonderful journey. Not really sure how long it's gonna go, but catch us for as long as we're here. And if you guys want to come by on Friday at 7 p.m. PST, we're gonna be doing a campaign that I'm DMing called Shifting Fates. It's a wonderful, fun times, and go check our socials if you guys want to see more, and go check out Benny's TikTok. What's your username, Benny?
Autist DM. So AUTIST DM.
All right, go check that if you guys want to see more of his content. He has really good content, and he tends to talk about various things involving being a GM and being a player. So if you guys are interested in our content and you guys want to see more of that, he's a really good step of advice for you. All right, have a good night, ladies and gentlemen. I'll see you later.
Bye.
Bye.
But